Good morning. I am higher vibrations and so are you. And holy cannoli and a bucket of snakes. There's been so much going on, so much throughout the planet, so much energy shifting. It's just crazy. I know a lot of you are feeling more ascension symptoms than you typically do, and just want to let you know that you're not alone in that. There's a lot of us who are feeling it. If you're sensitive in any way, it's kind of been a crazy week, especially today, I would say. So, um, anyway, we'll go into that later on. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit while we had people joining in. I want to welcome my guest today. I'm so excited to have. I've actually never had a couple join before on this show, so this will be the first for that. Today we're welcoming on Diamond Heart 888 Sharmony and her partner Sven. Welcome. How are you today?
Thanks, Mila. We're fine. Thanks.
We're
Excited to
doing,
be here.
yeah, really excited
Uh,
to be here. Want to say thank you
yeah.
again, Mila, for all you do. Seriously, you are an incredible soul to come on all the freaking time. Can we get a hands up for Mila? Like, oh my God. I'm like laying sideways and I'm like, this woman is on New Year's Day every other day and sharing and helping. And it's just, you're amazing. Thank you for your platform for so many of us souls that are coming out and all the beautiful peeps in the audience because we're all one. And so what a wonderful opportunity for us to be here. It's our first time. So
Wow.
talking
Yeah.
together ever.
This is a whole bunch of firsts. Yeah. And Sharmony, thank you for thanking Mila. Thank you so much. This is not only our first time showing up together. This is my very first time ever doing anything like this. So
Wow.
I'm a total newbie.
Well, you don't have to feel nervous or worried. We're pretty easygoing here. So if you have any, if there's any point I ask a question that is uncomfortable, you don't have to answer it. Okay, it's just we're just having a conversation among friends.
Fantastic.
Love it.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks, Mila.
We're open books, girl, like you. So
All
it's the best way to be, and it's this new energy of pure, true authenticity. Everybody be your true, vulnerable heart. It is beautiful. You are so pure diamond hearts, and we are here together now.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, I do have some questions about you guys specific. Oh, before I forget, I'm going to post this up right now. It is linked, but I wasn't able to put it up into Facebook. I'll do that after the fact. Here is Sharmony's YouTube channel. I'm going to put it up on the thing. I guess you really can't see it very at the well that you would. Well, Diamond Heart 888, and so if you just search that, you'll find her. Also, you'll see if you're come to the YouTube, you'll see and the description of this video in YouTube, as well as in the title. Her YouTube channel's there, so I encourage you to go check it out. There's some really cool stuff that she posts. Sharmony is like the spiritual cheerleader in my world. I really enjoy connecting because she's always like, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel everything, and it's huge. And so I go crash and blow up too. And on the other end, I feel such joy. And I love all of us feeling all our hearts together. I really do. And it's the strongest it's ever been right now. So rest assured, everyone, we are on this incredible journey together. It is happening for real, for real, for real. If there's any doubts, understand that's part of the journey. You are amazing and perfect, each and every single one of you. As a beautiful aspect of each other, we are just different versions of the same one in this game. And we're helping each other, literally, as Ram Dass said, walk each other home. And we are really in it right now. We are in the walking home part. So there is much to celebrate. And of course, we're going through a lot as well. And just have
Mhm.
love and compassion for yourself. So thank you, sweet Mila, cheerleader sister, too.
And I really appreciate that you brought the dip up because a lot of people, I don't know why, but I notice it. I don't think it's just the spiritual community. That's just the community I hang out with, you know.
Yeah.
But it seems like people conceal that part. The
Yeah.
I have hard days too, man. Like,
Oh,
and it's okay to have hard days that are the kind of days that you just pull the covers back over your head. Those days happen in between.
Yes. Keeping it real. Do you want to speak,
Yeah,
sweetie? Yeah.
yeah. And we have those days. They're wow, yeah. But for me, and I'm Sharmony too. Once we realize where we are, which is here now, the gratitude comes easier than it used to. It comes
Yeah.
really easy and it flows. And just being here now is, I don't know, brings joy. Just brings joy.
Yeah, that is the key we're finding. Mila and everyone is orientating constantly to the now, which is empty. Let everything go when you're able,
Yeah,
because sometimes you got to just go through what you're going through. You got to cry, you got to scream and yell, you got to whatever you got to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It is all perfect in the design of the soul. You are simply as the avatar human, the glorious hero of this whole thing. You are executing what you as soul designed for you as human because it provides an expansion. And honestly, when we stop battling ourselves, when we stop beating ourselves up, judging ourselves, warring against ourselves because we think we should be better or we think life should be better or whatever we're battling against, when you just empty it all out, breathe into this friggin' now, right here. It is empty. It is still. It is your God essence. And then everything just kind of falls back into place. But you got to scream and yell and rage. We're clearing eons of shit right now, guys. And you know that it's not just you.
Mhm.
Please know that if you're doing this, you're a way shower, you took on family, collective, planetary, it's a lot. So we're finding, and soul keeps telling me, orient to the now, orientate yourself back to this now moment. It is empty, it is timeless, it is everything. And in that, you free yourself. That's like the number one thing that we have found,
yeah.
and we are doing more. We're able to do more now. So
Mhm.
yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're always a hard one to follow because you say it so well. Um, Being here in the now becomes easier when we accept that when we're not feeling good is the areas to grow. When we are feeling good, we're actually enjoying ourselves, but we're not we're not growing because it's
Right.
easy when it's feeling good. When you're not feeling good, that's where you go, wow, okay, how do I come back to center? How do I ground myself? How do I be in the now? And that's the practice we've been doing. It's like, wow, okay, that was a challenge, whatever it was. Whew, breathe it, take some breaths, practice radical acceptance of it, and be. Just be and release. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect every time, but when you do it, you practice it, it becomes easier. And the now is the release. It's the opportunity to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. I resonate with that. I mean, like, the times that are the hardest are when I excel. That's when growth happens. Those are the
yeah,
growing pain times.
Yes, Amila, you really shed a lot of insight for me and many of us when you have had so many NDEs, near death experiences, literally left. And what you said is so true. And now we really know more than ever that on the other side, the other souls want to know the bad stuff, quote unquote. That's the juicy stuff because what
yeah,
we're really now in this energy of, and I'm sharing this because you're all coming into it. If you're not there yet, hang in there. We're all on our own unique, beautiful journey, but you're going to come into this, or you're already coming into this, of starting to feel, oh my goodness, my hardest, shittiest, worst times are where the gold is. It's
Yeah.
where I get to get closer to my God self, where I expand the most, as you just pointed out and Sven shared for us, is we're totally, you know that intellectually, everyone, but to embody it is a whole game changer, takes you to a whole new level. And that is like exciting. So if you're not there yet, please, again, compassion and love for self. Patience is a damn virtue, everybody. And just know it's coming. And so we're like, finally, it's just started in the last few days, this real depth of, oh, I don't feel good. There's something yucky inside me. Or when I see someone post something and, it's like, I'm just going to share personal because it's all about being vulnerable. And I had this huge breakthrough, I think January 9th. I'm looking at Facebook, my favorite place to learn and also be triggered. And there's a fellow soul who's here in this geographical area, and she's a spiritual teacher. And she has all about building business and money and making 10,000 a month and 100,000 the last 3 months. And I'm
Mm,
like, every time I check, we used to be aligned at one time, and it made me feel not good inside. And so the other day when I saw it, I realized, whoa, I was feeling okay, and now I don't. What's happening? And I talked to myself, and this is huge, you guys. Talk to yourself, because you're
Yeah,
asking your higher self and soul to come in. Talk to yourself as much as possible, because so much
yeah,
is coming in right now. So guess what? I've never been able to do this. I had the space. I said, wow, what is that? Ooh, I feel a disharmony. Am I jealous? And that's okay. If you're anything is okay. Nothing's wrong. It's all by design. It's all perfect for the sensorial, emotional expansion that the soul wanted to experience. And it was like, no, I'm disappointed that she's not where I am. She's not in unity. Forget this money thing and making all this money. That's more division. We're way beyond that. In unity, there's no money, there's no exchange, because there's no survival. Okay, survival is the inverted matrix, which is based on lack and fear. We're moving to wholeness, guys. We're moving to all is one. There's nothing to exchange. So I realized, oh my goodness, I'm expecting this other soul to be where I am, and I'm waiting for her, and it disappoints and it brings me down that she's so excited about all the money she's making,
yeah,
helping everyone. And I realize that's perfect too. And honestly, in a moment when you can look at your own stuff and ask yourself, this is deep diving with excitement. This is your inner exploration and your inner like journey to the frontier, like Star Trek. You're the frontier, guys. You are the one. So it's amazing. When I realized that, it literally dissolved, and I felt love for her as an aspect of me playing the role. This is what everybody's doing for us, whether it's your partner, your child, someone you dislike, a family member, people on Facebook, whoever, the person, the stranger in the grocery store. It's about recognizing they're all helping you see where you're separate from yourself. And when you can see these parts of you, the shadow work is key. When you can
mm.
see the yuckies, feel the yuckies, give space to the yuckies. Ah, and just come back to yourself. You will feel such a relief and freedom, and it will literally begin to dissolve instantly. And if not instantly, very soon. And you will start to love the moments or embrace them more where you feel yucky, because the gold is there. So, yeah, thank you.
Well said.
wow, we're done. It's
Put a bow
amazing.
on it.
Yeah, great points. I'm glad you brought that up. And what I think ties this together in a way is the word awareness. That's what came up. We're in a 3D world that we feel is moving to 4D, and 4D is awareness. And this is being aware of yourself, aware of the things that are going on, and do they really, should they, and do they really mean anything to us? When we become aware, we realize things. We realize about ourselves. And I had a big awakening and awareness when I realized, wow, am I disconnected from who I am as a real spiritual human? I was surviving in the 3D world, but I wasn't I wasn't fitting in. I spent years going in and out of depression and not being able to identify properly here. And when I finally broke through, it was awareness. And I became aware that it just doesn't matter. Things don't matter. It doesn't have any value to be concerned about money. Money's important because you have to survive here, but it's not the driving thing. And when I let go, I became more aware. And now I feel that awareness inside of me. I feel you, I'm putting myself, me, Shar, you, Mila, and everybody's listening here. We're here because we're becoming aware. And that awareness is our opening, our freedom to become the transitions to the next dimension, the fourth dimension that's opening for us, I feel.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Really quick, because Mila has some great stuff to
Oh
add, and
yeah,
she
sure.
must. I just want to say, our being ourself, our energy is everything. So I used to say, it's not what happened to me, like that person betrayed me, that one used
Yeah.
me, that one took my money, or whatever. And I changed it to, it's how I feel about it, because I changed the perspective.
Yeah.
They're just playing a role as my role players in my play. My soul wrote the script for every single character in my play, including my human. So even when I did things that felt terrible, I'm like, why was I so mean to Sven, or angry, or yelling like that, or whatever it was? Now we've really come to be lighter about all that and recognize. But the number one thing, guys, is your energy. That is the new currency now. It always was, but it was covered up in the survival inverted lack matrix by design. We agreed to forget so we could remember. And now we forget that we forgot, I say.
Yeah.
And we remember, you are the one. So when you realize it's not what's happening to you, it's not what life is, or what you didn't do, what you should have done, or you're a failure, like Sven was talking about, that money thing and failure. I
Yeah.
don't have an income. I have no value. This was huge for me, coming from both of us corporate background, and I had 3 university degrees. I was a physio, like all these identities just
Yeah.
got ripped apart. But I couldn't make money, and I was taken care of, but I didn't know that. I was terrified and in lack, and we went through a lot. Like, even just not long ago, Sven got laid off, and we're like, oh, okay. And I
Yeah.
just have to share that, because in this orientating to the now, we stayed calm, and things flowed, and they're flowing, and this is the new way.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's your energy, guys. It's you. It's you.
Yeah. Well said. And you actually brought up a point I can segue off that I was going to get to, was when you were talking before, both of you mentioned it, whether you realize it or not, is that we're talking about the power of speaking to your water. Your water hears you. The studies of Dr. Emoto tells us that when you speak kindly to molecules of water and freeze them rapidly, then they have this beautiful, like,
Yeah.
appearance to them, and they look like a snowflake, like the ones on cartoons and stuff, right? And then if you say unkind things, or low self-worth kind of statements to these water molecules, and then freeze them, they're distorted, they look dirty, they look unclean. Um, and the point here is that we are bodies of mostly water.
Yeah.
I know that the ratio is different based on male or female in form, though it's still a majority of your body is water. And your body's water can hear you. When you speak kindly to yourself, it changes the frequency of your entire, not just your physical body. It echoes out, and you have layers and layers of energy around you. Like, I see energy, and I can see it. I can see when someone's having a bad day, even if they're pretending really good. Their energy is all funky, and you can shift that, even if you think you're lying to yourself. Even if you think because what I mean by lying is that sometimes we've been so conditioned to think so lowly of ourselves. When we say something kind, we don't believe it, and that's okay. Just say it anyway. Like, that, I was Archangel Michael made me say that I'm awesome to myself, and that was hard.
Because
Like,
you
that
didn't.
was so cringe.
I feel you, sister. That, excuse me, throat chakras, lots of clearing right now. It's a great thing, everyone. So I love that you shared that, Mila, because I had an eating disorder. I estimate around 23 years. I was binging and purging. I tried to be anorexic. This started when I was 17. I came back from a trip to Europe after graduation. I was a bit chunky, and my mom played the role. She's like, you have to get back down to 100 pounds. And I took it like, aye, ma'am. My personality was perfectionist. It was set up brilliantly. I just have to share that. Of course, I went through a lot of suffering till I could come to this place like we all do. But, I went on to very extreme, being an extreme soul signature, like many of us way showers. I starved. I didn't eat. I went on walks when I in my jobs in high school in the summer and tried to avoid eating. And then I would binge, right? And I was also didn't realize I was a massive empath and took on everyone's emotions. So I was feeling a lot of discomfort in my body constantly, like for decades. And I would eat, and then I felt terrified of getting big, so I had to bring it all up. So anyway, I really hated the way I looked. I thought I was disgusting. And Sven also felt this from a young age. We related when we first met
Yeah.
16 years ago on a multitude of things, our names being hard to pronounce where we grew up. But we really found ourselves to be grossly ugly. Like Sven used to say, he didn't know how anyone could date him. He felt like Elephant Man, and he didn't look like that at all. And for me, I felt big and fat, and on camera I had problems because it always flattened me and I have a round face. Anyway, my whole point about that is, even when I told myself I love myself and I tried, I felt so gross. And I had a program which many of us way showers carry: self-destruction, self-rage, self-hatred to the extremes, because it's super expansive. So it takes time. And like Mila said, saying these things, it never really ended up feeling right for me, but I kept trying and I just let it go. But I'll tell you now, what's happened is, even though there's still some discomfort with the physicality, especially with the plasma and looking pregnant, and like, oh my God, this has been a year of swelling around the abdominal area and stomach. And
Everybody.
everybody, right? We're all, thank God, like when you started sharing that a year or two ago, when that was happening, Mila, like you were helping so many of us, like always. But you know what? Now I was even laying in the tub and, almost just put my hands on my belly and said, wow, I'm birthing my true self through all this. And I'm feeling this gentle love like you would for a baby. And it's this like beautiful, just sort of flowing into this greater you that's so beyond this physical. This physical is an incredible vehicle that we've needed in order to experience this incredible journey. Like what we've done is, in the cosmos, they don't have words, but glorious are some of the words, and magnificent, majestic. What we have done as human here is beyond words. We are giving the gifts of massive density, emotional expansion experience that happens nowhere else. To get this heavy, literally agony, torture, suffering, death, destruction, the deepest depths of darkness. So now there's just this, I am this energy. We're becoming more energy, beautiful peeps. And so it's it's starting to go out of the physical and into this beautiful energetic that is diamond sparkle, rainbow lights and gems and jewels, and just like so beautiful. And it's all of you, your eyes, your hair, everything. This density, we're shifting, as you know, to the diamond crystalline light body. But yeah, that really helped me. Is I beat myself up a lot because people kept telling me, even earlier this year, a master healer who I had an appointment with, he looked at me and he's like, oh my God, you have so much dark lineage and hellish, like ancestral. He said, don't ever do ayahuasca. Don't ever do psilocybin mushrooms. You will annihilate. You will destroy yourself. He said it was that dark. Now, I take it with a grain of salt. I was shocked and disappointed. I've done so much work, but he told me to do mirror work. And it still was like fake for me. I'm like, I'm so beautiful, and it wasn't working. But what I found is just through your own journey in divine time, it's by design, it'll start to lighten up and an opening occurs where you realize you're not this beautiful body, by the way. It's beautiful. I don't care what you physically look like. Like I feel tears inside right now because I can feel the emotion of how beautiful. how beautiful and sparkly we all are. And we can't yet see it, but we're starting to see it more. And like Mila can see energy. And so she knows that been shown visions of how, like, we're just the most brilliant diamond sparkling jewels. We really are. And we're amazing. So yeah, just letting it unfold, it starts to become this big, beautiful energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Everyone breathe that in. Just take a breath of that.
It's the pink frequency.
I see diamond light when I close my eyes, and I feel my tears well up with such love, such truth, such knowing that that's what we are. That's what.
Yeah. You would, I think I'm speaking out of turn. Sven probably wants to speak next. I was
No,
going
you speak
No,
love.
not
Yeah.
at all. Please.
to. You had mentioned this, what is called body dysphoria, that I, when I hear someone else have it, it's shocking to me because I don't see what you see, what you both have, you said both of you have seen in yourselves. I don't see that. I see beauty, and though I too experience the same thing. In fact, I spent the vast majority of my life dodging mirrors until just a couple of years ago. I thought that I was fugly, like I really did. And I thought that when someone smiled at me, they were teasing me in their head. Like I mean, I had a really low self image, and when I looked in my reflection, I did see this other person that wasn't actually me. And it was a programming that I was raised with. It came from somewhere. I can only speculate. I have some good guesses, I guess, but um, and then I started to do clearings. And that's actually where I started to bond with Guardian that I have on my channel sometimes. He comes on the show. Um, and I did a session with him, and uh, it was the most bizarre thing is that it took like 2 days. But then I caught my reflection in the mirror and I thought someone was behind me. I was looking at somebody else. I'd never seen how I really look until that moment. And I was shocked. I was shocked that all of those years I saw someone completely different than who I am. And kind of annoyed at myself too, because I was in my 40s and now I find out that I'm not ugly. You know what I mean? Like after all of these years. But um it's a real thing. And I think a lot of us have this, as a lot of the way showers, star seeds, whatever you want to call yourself, empaths. We first, I don't know what it is, but I can say that the vast majority of us have individuals that are intentionally placed in our lives to push pause on our awakening, to delay us until it's time, and that keeping us back down energy wise will assist us in some way and propel us then into this next dimensional frequency where we're now being catapulted.
Yes, the strength that it takes to go down to the very bottom, like all of us wayshowers do time and time again, because we're at the front of the line saying, I'll do it, I'll do it. That sounds exciting. That sounds amazing to go to the bottom and then some and be in hell and hate myself and find I'm so disgusting, I'm so ugly, I'm so gross. Like I literally felt like that so many times. I remember my whole body, I just felt wow. And I had a lot of problems with like my periods bleeding out since young. and I would be disgusted that I was like bleeding out everywhere. I'm like, ew, I'm so like literally it was, I can't explain it, but I think I'm transmitting that it was at a very visceral, like it was a full body experience of feeling absolutely disgusted with yourself. And I can speak to it now with such a like, wow, understanding of what kind of soul this is for all of us will choose to go through that and survives that and comes out of that stronger than ever. And you're talking about in your 40s, sweetie, we're 50s and 60s. And I love what you bring up because then we start to recognize we are timeless. And none of this matters when we alchemize it. We're the master alchemizers. We're remembering, we're turning that shit back into gold, baby. And now this gold is like fluorescent. It is on fire. It is so powerful because we are the ones, the brave, strong souls who chose to take on the nastiest, most painful stuff that to literally come back to yourself from that level of disconnect, of separation, to start to return to the wholeness of what we are is the most incredible journey any soul can make anywhere, especially in the darkest, deepest depths of the earth school and the heaviest dimensions that exist anywhere. So I love what you said. More power to you, girl. More power to all of us that chose decades of suffering in so much lack of self-worth, lack of self-value. For me, it was 15 years from 2010 where I left. I had to leave on medical disability, my corporate job, and I was very ashamed. Nobody understood. Sharmony, what's happened to Sharmony? And I was so ashamed. And I'll tell you, it was 15 years of hell. I couldn't start a business. I helped thousands of people all in flow, all without anyone knowing and just being myself. But I was not allowed to start a business. I tried because other people said, you have to help more people. And I kept failing. And so the word loser is what was my number one word for my life for most of those 15 years, which just I'm coming out of. But it was like I was on the outside of life looking in. I couldn't get in there. But what a powerful experience. What I want to say to you is now for both of us, we were together during that time. And this was a part of our massive agreement of disconnect. And Mila, I remember in a session I had with you a couple of years ago, I was sharing a bit about Sven's disconnect, and you said Vulcan, like a Vulcan in Star Trek. And I'm like, yes, like that. He doesn't even know he's doing it because
I don't know what you're talking about.
it was by I don't know what you're talking about. I love it because it was by design. But what I want to share with all of you, your hardest, shittiest, most despairing, agonizing, darkest times, you will make it through. You will. And the other side, as Sven said recently, a couple of months ago, in the middle of a massive triggering between us. And he said, he was like, I didn't know. And my heart just burst. I for the first time in 16 years, I could feel he didn't know he was doing this. And he said, I can tell you that the other side of this is so beautiful. And I knew he was right. And we're now starting to experience it. And it is.
What that moment was for me a realization that I was becoming aware of where I was and where I am and where I could be, and that awareness was being in the now. And that was the day the dam burst or the wall fell over, however you want to think about it, but it really opened up for both of us. I mean, yeah, 16 years of knowing that we were so right for each other, but having these things between us. And yet we stuck together. We never, ever parted.
Yeah. We were not allowed.
We were definitely not allowed. I mean, did we want to? Yeah.
Yeah.
but it wasn't there. And we realized, I know deep inside, we both knew that that was not what we were meant to do. We were meant to be together. And because we were here to remember, we were here to come back to source, to self, to understand so that we can move ahead together.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
from that point forward, boy, did we really start to come together. Was it immediate? Yes, but was it perfect? No. But wow, the path became clear. We knew what we were doing now. We knew where we were going,
Yeah.
and we knew we were doing it together. That was a remarkable opening for both of us.
Yeah.
Just remarkable. It was like our hearts really just went, ah,
Oh yeah.
and opened right up to each
Wow.
other, like they always wanted to.
Yeah, like you always want to in your worst moments of anger and rage and how you're triggering each other. Finally,
Yeah.
it took 16 friggin' years, guys. And we've had breakthroughs, lots, of course, but we've had lots of triggering because I'll tell you, it's not this romantic, perfect, harmonious connection. And that's some kind of falsity in the false, spiritual bullshit, which there's a lot of, you start to realize, which is great because it's discernment.
Yeah.
But this idea, like, think about it. You grow the most in the hardest times. You came here as a soul to adventure, to dig in, to deep dive into the darkest dark, because you can't get that when you're whole and in unity consciousness. So there's a lineup. Yeah. And so then the partner, and this is probably the case for most if you're in this kind of couplehood, and is meant to trigger everything for each other, because we also chose as souls to take it to the max. And I'm talking to all of you too. So in the partnership too, it was absolute hell. It was absolute hell at times. And
Yeah.
and it's also the most greatest reward to get to the other side, to stick it out, just like with ourselves, with yourself, to know your hardest times will bring out a strength in you, a depth of soul gnosis that you have yet to experience. And it is the greatest freaking gift. And on the other side, you will say, wow, okay, I'm grateful I had to go through all that. And it all starts to fade. It's starting to get lighter now. And these energies, your past, your traumas, your victim stuff, which was
Hmm.
real and totally happened to you, the letting go is becoming lighter when you get to this part where you've bridged yourself. You're the bridge to your true self. And then you start to go, oh, wow, all that brought me to here. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Thank you so much for sharing. I I want to read this comment to you and then kind of follow it up with a question. Um, you two are, Susan says, you two are helping me so much. I met my divine counterpart 7+ years ago, and we have been through the ringer, but our souls won't let go. It is great to hear there is light. Thank you. And yeah, thank you so much for your comment. And there's a bunch of beautiful comments while you two were sharing. That you'll see if you watch this. I put them all up as we go, and I'm reading your comments, everybody. So please feel free to comment. Um, and while you were both were speaking, I had something come to me. I thought to myself, I believe they were probably together already when each of them had their awakening. Um, what was that like to be? I mean, and were there different times? Were your awakenings at different, you know? What was that like?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we pushed each other into awakening too, deeper,
Yeah.
deeper. It's like, what? This level of hell isn't enough? No, you guys wanted to go deeper into hell.
There's a
Whoa.
there's an old
It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh.
it is, yeah. There's a story. There's an old saying.
Oh, so good.
There's an old saying that you're basically going to repeat your mistakes until you learn from them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's something like that. What it means is we just kept going
Oh yeah.
and going
Going,
until we
going.
really got it.
And I tried everything, you guys. I enrolled in all kinds of programs. I was driven like a maniac to understand the human experience. I drove myself literally crazy by design. I tried everything. Nothing worked. We were still fighting. We were still triggering each other like crazy. Of course, there was love and joy and fun,
Yeah.
but there was a hell of a lot of pain. And
Mm.
let's just be totally honest and vulnerable, because this is where we learn. And I would be so frustrated, and I'd be screaming sometimes at Sven, like, I'm trying so hard and you're not doing anything. What progress have you taken? Who have you fucked? And and I'll tell you something. It felt really, and we all feel this when we cycle and loop in things that we can't break, our own addictions, different behaviors, patterns that you'll see, even relationships you'll repeat. And
Mm.
there's nothing wrong, okay? By design, to the human, it's hell. And you start to, well, you just don't understand why nothing's working. Why isn't, like, I would try sessions with these amazing people. I would spend money and like a lot sometimes trying to get help and trying to figure this out, and nothing helped. And you just have to realize in the end, nothing's wrong. You're going to loop in your own stuff and in your couplehood stuff as long as is needed by design, because it serves. And that's that letting go. But it's hard when you're in it, and the frustration. Now the energies are much more supportive for us to have some space to actually see that maybe it's not me, maybe it's not you, maybe this whole thing is by design, which I found it is, and it was,
Yeah.
and it will let up when it is meant to let up. And until then, you are actually building your resilience, and you are digging deeper and deeper into your true self, and you are getting stronger and stronger, even though it feels like hell. And it's a lot of physical symptoms too, from all of the stress and all of this fighting our own self, and why am I still in this? And
Yeah.
and I wanted to run away because I was like, I'm trying everything, it's you. And then it's like, well, I know it's me too, but I can't do anything about it. And so,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, it was our two energies were meant to be this way so that we could come to where we are now.
we could
We
alchemize.
knew it, but we couldn't get there. We just couldn't get there. So the question was, how did it
Yeah.
feel? We had lots of little ones along the way where we thought we had it. Oh, we're done. And then
Oh,
we're
yeah.
right back to where we are. So how did the last one feel? This one where I said, hey, the other side is beautiful. That was a real change point. And it felt comfortable. It felt like, ah, now this is real. This feels very, to me, I'm describing how
Yeah.
it felt for me. This felt very real, also very relaxing and
Oh, yeah.
very neutral, if I may. I'm by neutral, I mean it's
Ah,
even.
yeah.
It doesn't mean it wasn't good or bad. It was good, but it was a neutral feeling. I was, this is how it's supposed to be. Wow. And I could feel both of our energies just be like, ah,
Like a breath of relief.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And it felt, wow, we've crossed that bridge, we jumped that gap, however you want to say it, but we made that transition from that point to where we are now.
And that was just a couple of months ago, I think, like
Yeah.
December. And I will say we had more blow ups after that, but it shifted. There was an opening and an energetic. So, what happens when that opening occurs, which I feel is by design, and you'll go through whatever you need to go through, but
Hmm.
things are speeding up now. And there's the support of the forerunners transmuting so much that it's easier for all of us now as we're climbing higher, we're raising our frequency. And everything is your frequency. It doesn't matter what you did, what you didn't do, what you should have done. It does not matter. It's only your frequency in this now. So since
Yeah.
then, it's definitely gotten lighter, but we still had some real explosions. And you start to realize, hey man, you gotta just let go all the time and be in the now. Because the minute you think you've arrived, this is what I found too in my personal journey. Crash and burn, and you're just like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I thought I was there. No, and this just happened over and over.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
now,
me too.
the last few days, honestly, January 9th, I was struggling a lot. And I started before solstice. And this is what I encourage everyone, if it resonates for you, to start talking to yourself, record it on your phone if you feel it. That's what I do. Sometimes I'm so like all these thoughts and overthinking and the collective garbage is trying to clear through us. And I'm a huge overthinker, which if any of you are overthinkers and empaths, these are massive programs that big souls take on. So please have compassion for yourself, because it is hard when all these thoughts are constantly bombarding you and you can't sleep, you can't relax. And that's what I struggle with my whole life. However, now
And
everything's shifting.
just to put in perspective,
Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite. I'm an underthinker. Like I'm just like, everything's cool. Right? So
We're
Sharmony go,
extreme.
why didn't you think about doing this? And I'd be like, wow, you're right. Why didn't I? And that's where we need be the exact opposite. I wouldn't be thinking of things. And that neither of us, that's not a fault. That's just how we work.
Yeah, how we
So,
chose it.
yeah. And when
How
you
we
bring those two energies together, it's awesome when you meet in the middle, but when you're not in the middle, it's a bit of a challenge.
It's
Right.
extreme. And so it has really gotten easier for some reason since January 9th. And I was having a tough day and I was sitting there with all these thoughts. And then I've been just breathing and I let go. I have no attachment. I breathe into the now, breathe, let everything go, let it all go. Just come into this now. And in fact, I'm feeling if we could just do it together, everyone, a couple of breaths, so you have a sense of what it feels like.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to guide us through, but you do it whatever way you do it. You can't get this wrong. You can't get this journey wrong. You can't get it anything wrong. The more you realize that, the lighter and
Yeah.
easier things
This
can
has been
flow.
a big part of us being able to come together by being in the now, by learning, understanding, and practicing the breath work.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's try this. Let's just take a slow, deep breath to come into the body and hold and let go. And again, slow, deep inhale. Come into your heart and let go. And once more, breathing in, letting it all go, just being here now, and release. And one more for fun. Let's breathe in. Ah, just stay here for a moment. Empty, relaxed, free. Just being one. The wholeness and fullness of your true self. Timeless, no past, no future. Eternity and infinity. Unlimited pure source. Your diamond light. Right here, right now. I call this breath of one. Come back here anytime and every time you don't feel good. Anytime you have physical or emotional discomfort. Anytime you're exhausted. Return back home to your sanctuary, your pure heart, your diamond light, that which you really are. It is empty, it is still, and it is pure. And just keep coming back home. And all will shift. All will begin to flow as you let go, let go, let go, and be empty. This has
Thank you.
been huge. Yeah, thank you, sweetheart. This has
Thank
been
you.
huge for us,
Oh, yeah.
returning to the now. So when I feel conflicted and the thoughts are going crazy, like they sometimes will because we are a clearing collective, I do that. And then I just hit record and you will be amazed at what will come out from your soul. And if it doesn't happen at the start, don't give up. Don't have any attachment. Just let it flow. Empty yourself of everything and come back to your now. This is the state, the highest frequency. This is unity. This is wholeness. This is everything. This is 5D and higher. And this is what we're returning to. So I do that and I record. And on January 9th at 1:30 in the morning, I recorded. And I felt an energy that day. I told Sven, I'm feeling more relaxed. Something's happening. Something's coming in. And since then, it has been lighter and lighter. And literally, you're becoming more light photons as you alchemize all your darkness, which your soul chose that you're carrying, because ultimately it will return you to the remembrance of who and what you really are. God, you are grand order design. You are the most powerful, unlimited, eternal, and infinite energy and source of sparkling bright light.
I love the way you speak.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful and succinct to what the energies
It's
look
amazing.
like.
And she's like
Yeah.
this all the time too. It's amazing.
She's like this all the time, really? I've wondered. Sometimes I'll see your comments and I'm like, man, that has to take focus to write that way. I wonder how long it took her to write that.
It's so, you guys are awesome because thank you for just reflecting back what we all are, this awesomeness that you're feeling. Honestly, I feel so touched because I feel the you in me, the me in you. I feel it talking back to itself. I feel that beauty recognizing itself. So I love this. I've never felt at this level of wholeness. My heart has always felt everyone and it hurts so much. And now I get to experience this love of expansion and joy instead of the pain. I felt the joy before, but I felt a lot of pain being such an empath. And now I'm feeling this wholeness and this unity and this love and joy. And we are so bright, and our future is so bright. And there is no forward, tomorrow, future. It's here now. It's here in that breath of one. It's now. We are now.
Yeah,
It is right here.
in this
Thank
moment.
you.
And that breath was love. Like you could feel yourself breathing in love, and I encourage any of you to go back and do that again as many times as you want. Like that's one of those you can do. And that's what you're doing right then, whether we realize it or not, is we're breathing in light force, life force. Love is light and light is love, and there's no separating the two. That's the Archangel Michael message I get all the time from him. There's no separating the two. They're the same thing. And so sometimes people see it as plasma or light moving into their bodies, but it's love, it's light, they're all the same thing. And um, our bodies need this. We're givers, all of us by nature, we're givers, and we give out this light to everyone around us. And sometimes we don't realize it, though, is that we're giving out what we need for ourselves of this love, this light. And so this is recharging it. This is filling yourself back up. And
Yes.
if you can practice doing it while you're giving it, then you're not giving any of your own energy is the best thing to do. If you it's at first it's hard to kind of master, but it's doing exactly what you just did. Thank you for showing us how to do that.
Oh my gosh, I just love how you also brought in the idea of learning. See, this becomes our default through practice. And Soul told me, you don't just do this once a day or twice a day. Heck, do this all the time. Doesn't it feel great?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel good to remember
Yeah.
who you are? The love, as you said, the life force, the prana, the
Mhm.
source energy that we all are. I love it, Mila. And then we can master it that it literally, because we're doing it all the time, because heck, it feels amazing, guys. You're returning back to unity and wholeness and your oneness. I call it the diamond light pillar going right through your central column, through this breath, through breathing into your own diamond heart, and
Mhm.
then being able to have that all the time. So you're no longer depleting yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What a beautiful expansion. And that's it, because we've depleted ourselves by design from day one. We were separate. That in itself, to separate from source, was the greatest betrayal and greatest loss and disconnect and pain that we've all felt. And yet it was necessary for the grand experiment of separation.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we as heroes and as super souls literally have to be extremely high caliber soul to come in here and
Yeah.
play this game. Okay, we're ultimate players and in the ultimate game. So to actually return to yourself is to return to the now, is to return to in the now, everything's unified. There's only one. And by this practice of the breath, you refill yourself, you return, you restore your entire physical, spiritual, energetic, emotional, mental, all the bodies back to the one. And so I love that. You will never deplete yourself again. And by practicing this and mastering it, it just becomes you. You become living in the now, which is beautiful. So don't beat yourself up. That's the whole thing. If you can't do it or you forget, it's a process and it's unfolding. Try to relax into life and into your body and into the now, because that is the key. And then things start to calm as you calm, because you're the projector, you're the source of everything. We still have challenges and it's just lighter, and we just stay in the now as much as possible. And there's a calmness that begins to embed in your frequency. It's part of now who
Yeah.
you are. So things could be falling apart, shit could be flying, literally. Last night, our 20
Really.
kitty cat had a little poo problem. And so we were cleaning poo, and it's like, woo, that stinks, and off its tail. Oh my God, we're going through some stuff. Okay, and you guys, as moms, know, and parents, you all know, and the
Yeah.
toddlers. So literally, shit is flying, but you're calm. You are calm. And then afterwards, we were commending each other on how calm we were, how it took both of us, but how, and Sven goes, you know what? I was holding Bob. Bob's our big black kitty cat. And he said, he's a real squirmer and he's strong. And he said, I was just calm. I was just calm and I was cleaning him. And so it's so beautiful. And with that, I just feel guided to share. Sven's heart broke wide open when our other kitty cat suddenly passed November 3rd. So it was a shocker. Both our cats are fairly healthy. We thought he needed antibiotics. He hadn't eaten for a couple of days. We've gone through that before with him. I was away at the time. I was away for like a week and a half, so I was not able to come. Sven takes our sweet black and white kitty to the vet and calls me. And I felt sick when Sven said his belly's swollen, and then I calm myself down. I overreact. I'm catastrophic thinking is one of the programs I ran and run. And so I had calmed myself down, but I still felt some anxiety. And then Sven calls and he says, um, it's terminal and we have to put him down. And I said, okay, like, do we have a few days? Can I come? And he's like, no, it has to happen now. And he's in shock and I'm in shock and we're both crying. And it was just, it was really, really hard, and it was really powerful because it broke Sven's heart open. He never felt such a loss. He never felt such depth of grief, sobbing
Yeah.
and yeah, and crying himself silly, he would say. And
Yeah.
and he had the freedom to do that because I was away, and I told him, cry, cry, let your heart break open. That kitty has connected with us, and we know we actually neutralized that and balanced it. It took a couple of weeks and then another month or two, but now we realize what a huge shift that created for both of us.
Yeah, I really did.
Yes. And then
Yeah.
2 weeks later, the job was gone. And it was like, and there was other stuff that happened. Our pipes backed up in our home, like literally
Another shit story.
shit storm. At 9 in the morning, I haven't slept and I hear blah, 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 bubbling, like a massive bubbling. And I run and he's away. He's trying to take a break. And I'm calling him going, emergency, emergency. You have to get out. And then it overflowed, and I was like trying to I'm like, oh my God. And honestly, there were so many things in that short period of time. November was like super hell, but super transformative. And 2024 was the hardest year ever for
Oh, yeah.
us. I feel everyone. It was
it was
to set us
wow.
up
Yeah.
for this year. And we thought we had gone through the shit. We thought we had been like, I was like, man, I'm done. And then it was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Just
And
kidding.
I know, right? And I know you've spoken about this too, Mila. And you know what? Look how much lighter and stronger we are.
Yeah.
We both had sciatica, so horrendous. 7.5
it's
months for
crazy.
me.
Yeah.
Sven had it like 6 months. I was silent screaming. I didn't sleep at night. The pain was, I could barely walk. I couldn't drive. I was so, and we tried all kinds of things, and we just had to let it go, and we had to rest. And it was massive root and sacral and solar
Yep.
plexus chakra lineage, collective planetary on the right side, male energy. But honestly, I've handled a lot of pain. I have a super high pain tolerance. I didn't know that, but I've come to be told that many times. And that was the worst pain I have ever. And Sven, like, we were besides ourselves and we could not get relief. So that too was, now we're good. Like, literally, we just healed in like maybe December, and now January, we're like, oh my God, I can walk, I can dance again. I'm like, oh, is this what it feels like to sleep without agony and to move without, and so what a gift. I share that too, because man, it was a hellish year. There was so much more. There was sicknesses and throwing up and puking, and I was
Mhm.
crying. I'm like, I just want to die. I don't want, I can't do this anymore. Like, really. It was that kind of year. And then Dante dying, oh man, it brought up rage. I felt ripped off. I said bye to him 4 days before he left, and I never saw him again. And it was like, what? And he was the younger, healthier one. We had prepared ourselves for the older one.
Right.
And then guilt comes like, oh, we should have done more. And we had to process
Right.
it. You have to realize there's no mistakes. And then
Yeah.
you really have to embody that and apply it. Feel it all.
Yeah.
Feel it. Let it out. We raged. We cried. We felt ripped off. And then, we realized he didn't suffer. It was hard, but it was perfect. And then honestly, it changed our dynamics at home, and it lightened up. Like, it's hard to, well, we felt at first a little guilty, but honestly, now we know it's all perfect. It was easier at home to just one cat. It's weird, but suddenly feeding, because they both had supplements, and he had a lot of white hair. So
Mhm.
someone else with white haired animals understands this and said to us, you miss them, but not their hair. Honestly, it was everywhere. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, we can take off our covers on the couch that we've had to have for 11 years. And like,
Right.
it was just different things just flowed. And then you realize he did that as a part of us by design to help us to expand and also to lighten things up.
Yeah.
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 So
Wow.
it was huge. It was huge.
Yeah, it was.
Sven was on his hands and knees, and it was good. He said, I needed that, because he said even when his dad passed away suddenly when he was in his 30s, he didn't feel what everyone else was crying, and he tried, but he couldn't, right? Because again, he was cut off, and he
Yeah.
had a very powerful experience. He felt love for animals and love for me, but even with me, he was disconnected from seeing how badly I was suffering with my physical health, with my emotional health, and being in bed, not having a job, not having any friends, not having anything to go to, nothing. All I had was Facebook and my phone, and trying to fix myself and being left alone a lot. And
Yeah.
he didn't realize that. When he realized, he felt sick, he felt regret, and he had to process that. So we've really come a long way in a short time, but by design, it's accelerated now. So all of you, if you're struggling, just know it can change like that now. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's magical.
Yeah, it is.
And for those of us who suffered for decades, that is an incredible thing that our souls took on that speaks to our resilience. And I'll tell you, that level of expansion, wait till you get to the other side, which we're just starting as forerunners to experience. As you put, Neil, on Sunday, it's just starting to get good.
Yeah.
You are right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of it, like the way spirit shows it to me. And you answered the questions I was going to ask you. So I'm not even,
I was gonna say, I'm sorry I talk so
no,
much.
you did great. It was
No,
perfect.
you're awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was, I was gonna, yeah, you had brought stuff up and then you answered it. So, um,
I
uh,
love it.
the the precipical energy that we've been in is
Yeah.
finally like now we're doing it. Now we've just moved over, and it's not like we're following or anything. It has that effortless element to it though, of
Yes.
free falling. It just like, okay, now we can just float. Now it's, and all of this and I feel like that part of it's because everyone's doing it. Before, when you're the only one rowing a big ship, when you're the only one rowing, it's hard to get anywhere. But now everyone has got a paddle. And it's
Yes.
play though. It's play.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love that you brought this
Yeah.
up because you are exactly just speaking to what we're feeling and you're articulating it. So I call it free flowing. We are
Mm.
now more free, the most free we've ever been. We're truly free. And it's okay if you're not experiencing it yet because it's a gradual thing and
Yeah,
each individual has their own unique
exactly.
timeline. But we're here as a collective, we're here as forerunners, and I want to share an analogy that Jason Estes just shared in, he does these live deep dives about every 2 or 3 weeks. I don't watch them, but once in a while I'm guided and he comments on the live. So, well, it's a replay. Anyway, I'll just share a great analogy. It's like we've been riding a bike all this time that had a built-in massive resistance. And
Ooh,
suddenly, so we didn't know that. We're just like, what the? This is so freaking hard.
yeah,
And we're just got used to it because that's what we had to deal with. Now suddenly the resistance is gone. And
yeah,
it's like, oh my God, is this what it's like without that? And so I
Yeah.
love that analogy. He also shared more of our true self is coming in every single day. Finally, he
yeah.
called it the end of the astral and the beginning of the celestial, which is the God kingdom, the God beings that we are. Like we are really in incredible energies right now. And just literally on Monday, I saw some other speakers, Tim Wilde, Diana Cooper. They're also interesting, but talking about what they call the golden ratio, which is 50% awakened, 50% unawakened. Now, apparently, we were supposed to hit that on solstice, and because there's been so much distraction, and the dark, which is all us, but our dark players, because we love to maximize this game, and this game is never going to be done again. It's over, it's ending,
Right.
it's ended, right? So we're taking it, we've been taking it to the max. We delayed the ascension until now because look at all the juiciness we got out of all these extra years. So they both shared, but it was also something I experienced starting on the 9th, that day, and then it just got stronger. 10, 11. I didn't even really like, I thought about the 111 portal, which happens to be our wedding anniversary. I never even knew that was a date when I booked it. I could have booked 111 and it was 2012 or 112. And I was just booked 111. And now it's like, oh, but they both,
Wow.
yeah, isn't that cool? Like another, yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many neat things like that in our destiny. But anyway, they both shared that on Monday, this full moon, the strongest, most powerful full moon of the year, apparently,
Hmm.
called the wolf moon, we hit the golden ratio, the tipping point. Now, what I felt it just without even, that was all external confirmation of what I felt internally. And what
Yeah.
I want to share with you, everyone, is now this is what's going to happen. Straight up,
Yeah.
straight up, massive acceleration growth. This is a time of celebration and excitement. Doesn't matter what you're going through, how shitty it is, we're going straight up. So
Yeah.
this is what we've, wow, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that doesn't mean that we're going to stop having ascension symptoms, just to put that out there for anyone who's wondering, because
Yeah.
I know that a lot of people had a higher report of ascension symptoms today in particular than they've had a while. Um,
Wow.
and that's, something that people are having happen right now. And that, it's interesting too, is that particular full moon was also, um, the Norse, if you follow the way that the Norse look at the world and calendars and stuff, that was the day of Yule for the Norse people, was
Yeah.
the wolf moon. So that's also, like, in a way, that's their marker point of, like, now you're just getting past the darkness and you're getting into the light. And
Yes, I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? With ascension symptoms, oh my God, I went through like so I don't even have words to describe it. Anyway, it just brutal, brutal. Like
Oh yeah.
I called it white sword of light, searing pain. Like someone was putting a sword into the top of my head, and like the
Huh.
whole head burning, like
Wow. Yeah.
agonizing pain. And I have a high pain tolerance. I don't really complain, but this was beyond. And the dehydration I've had for decades, but the last, oh my God, and the last 5 or 6 years, it was just like didn't matter how much electrolytes, how much water. I drank through the night. I had to get up and pee multiple times. But what I'll share with you again, just like our greatest challenges, it will ease. And the
Yes.
other side is beautiful. So I went through all that feeling really victimized and suffering. I tried to change my perspective. Sometimes I could. Other times we laughed at times with our sciatica, even though we were in agony. We actually were laughing at how crippled we were. And like we were, Sven had to get a cane. A cane didn't even help me. Like it was ridiculous. We're shopping and okay, you know it was great? Shopping carts because you could lean
Oh
on the
yeah.
groceries. Oh my.
That's the only thing that works.
Now we know what older people feel like, or just like people who are disabled. It gave us such an idea. Like I thought, my God, I've always been so empathic, but this is taking it to a whole new level. So yes, so everybody's got to go through and really know that it's about you and your journey. Take care of yourself. Do what we have had to take so much time out. We do not sleep together like in the same bed for probably 4 years now. And it's been awesome because not only we both snore, but also
At different frequencies.
but also you need as an empath and a sensitive empath, but also Sven started to realize like you need to keep your own energy sometimes. You're going through a lot, and if you're in the same bed, you wake up and you're already entangled, you know? So it's like we do take that time, and I've often had to go on retreat, usually after an explosion. I had to get away, and we've had to do things like that. But if you're going through a lot, please pamper yourself. Please baby yourself. Be kind. We had to rest so much, and I had to rest so much. Some days these days I sleep at 3, but I sleep until 10, and I couldn't do that before. And I feel groggy, but the last 2 days it's much lighter. And today it was the best. I woke up earlier at 8. I felt brighter.
Yeah.
So it will pass. It will pass. Please remind yourself this too shall pass. And just you're learning to be kind, to be in the now. That's the key. There is no time with the now. You let go of ascension, you let go of astrology, you let go of dates and portals in a way, in a light way. You can observe them now. You're not clinging on to this has to be the change. And so I love, Mila, that you put this into perspective. We are now going to accelerate, and we are. And just know it's all going to be worth it. The other side is beautiful. So start now if you can. Be kind to yourself and try to change your perspective. Breathe. Do that breath. Do that breath.
Yeah.
Come back home. Come back home. And everything gets lighter, easier.
That's right. And it's easy. It's something that we do naturally. The one thing that I like to remind people, is because we don't sometimes remember, is that when we breathe in this way, we're breathing into our belly. Like we eventually we at some point, because babies don't do this. Those of you who watch your baby sleeping, and the way that they breathe in through their belly. And then something happens when we get older for some reason. As we age, we start to breathe only in this upper area of our body. So when you're taking in that breath, just remember to expand your diaphragm, and let that, and that fills in. It turns out you're only breathing a half shallow breath. And so you're teaching your body that you're in a fight or flight scenario. You don't have the rest and the calm. You're having the shallow urgency breath, and that in that way you're telling your body that it's safe.
Yes, I love it.
All
We,
said, yeah.
yeah, when I was a physiotherapy student, we learned everybody shallow breathing. We all do it, and I feel it's just part of the inversion, the design, because we agreed to forget. So, like you said, the babies they breathe deep, and then this whole process is so empowering, isn't it? I mean, gosh, I'll just ask that to all of us. You realize every challenge you do get stronger. You do learn something. It's not bullshit that you never get more than you can handle, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Those are all true and real. So this process, they call it, now it's a big deal because it's coming more into mainstream nervous system regulation, deep breathing. And I just want to share, there's so many types of breathing out there. I don't worry about all that because I find it gets into your mental, makes you more in your head. For me, the simplicity of like what I just call breath of one, call it like whatever you want, just deep breathe, return home to yourself and that oneness. And that really, it brings the belly breath in, breathe into your hips. And I find if you carry a lot of energy, you're highly sensitive and you're an empath, you have to be like really breathe like into your feet almost like whatever gets your body moving when you breathe. So Sven would just be like normal, like sitting there, and I'd say deep breath, and I'd be like, who cares? Be like a kid, exaggerate stuff. And you'll really start to feel it because as adults too, and just even in your 20s now with the computer, even as teenagers, where everybody's more stagnant. And that's by design. So when you empower yourself, master this and your return, you'll learn through actually walking the journey, the path. And so, yeah, you will learn to breathe deeper and loosen up, shake it up, just like, woo! 'Cause I just be silly and I do sometimes jumping jacks and just walk weird and Sven laughs at me and I just like a kid, just loosen, pretend you're made of jelly. We got to get this juicy fluidity, our juices, our own joints and things moving again, and you'll feel this lightness as you're helping the energy, the life force, the prana, that liquid elixir of life move through you. So yeah, and have fun. God damn, gotta have more fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was gonna say, watch funny videos I've shared on my Facebook profile just for laughs. Oh my God, sometimes my stomach hurts so bad. I'm shaking. Sven will be like, "Are you okay? Are you crying?" I am just like, oh my gosh. And honestly, I'm just sitting by myself and these videos, and I just watched two or three, and I feel so good because when you're laughing, first of all, you're jiggling your insides, and all that life force and light photons, they get to move. But I also have been shown this waterfall of energy that goes through our body when we're laughing, and it literally goes up your spine and then just falls down through your whole body. Yeah.
It
So,
activates your sacrum.
yes.
It does. And so does crying. It's the
Yeah.
same reaction. There's a whole study about this because I discovered this it was during the Y2K thing. I'm that old. And like
I love it.
there was
No,
like
you're that old.
well, that was the first real big. I didn't realize anyone else would ever really wake up the way that they were during the Y2K window. I was like, oh, cool. Like we're not alone. That's pretty neat. Um, and
Awesome.
the so when we cry or when
Yeah.
we laugh, we can heal ourselves. But at this time, back in 1999, there was this group that was going through. I was living in Utah at the time, Salt Lake kind of area, and Anyway, they were doing laughing yoga. And
Yes.
what's that? Isn't that neat? It's so cool. You only need 2 people, but the more the better. It's like that concept of try not to laugh in church, because then you just can't help but laugh like a lot. And
Yep.
if someone's laughing, even if you know why you're laughing with them, eventually you forget. You're just laughing at each other laughing. And that's
Yeah.
the concept. And what was really cool about this is there was a bunch of studies done back then, and they're like, whoa, people with like arrhythmia and different circulation issues, even like, people just all kinds of different struggles and health issues, they was resolved within a month. And this was just
Wow.
them laughing with each other for an hour every 2 weeks. You
Wow.
Oh,
know
wow.
yeah, that was it.
Amazing.
Laughing for an hour twice in a month, and they were better.
Wow.
See, that speaks to the power, and now everything is super duper
Hmm.
uber, I call it magnified. And it's
Yeah,
awesome because you can really have an
Yeah.
instant or faster healing. Like, let's open our minds. Let's be that child of wonder, but also the free spirit we are, and know that what if this could change in a second? What if we could shift realities? I know we're experiencing a gradual, and that's important because we don't want to burn out our physical body with too much light coming in at once. And also, there is an expansion when it goes a bit slower, but it can speed up and you can have glimpses of higher
Hmm.
reality frequencies because you're the determinator, you're the frequency that all this comes from. So the more you can hold those higher frequencies, no beating yourself up. It means no beating yourself up, no war, no judging yourself or others. It means to relax. It means like what you're talking about, that deep breathing, Mila, and that nervous system regulation that is now everywhere because finally people are realizing we've got to calm down. The whole inversion was go, go, go
yeah,
and do, do, do. And now it's be, 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 and slow, slow, slow. It's
yeah.
calming, right? And that's where our true essence is. And we can relax. And that's our true nature, is to just be and let it flow. Like you said, it's free
Mm,
flow, it's freedom. That's what we're returning to. So it's exciting. And yeah, have fun, laugh, cry, rage. Don't judge anything if you can. That now brings us back to neutrality. And I did a video on my YouTube in the summer where I realized, neutrality is God, is grand order design, doesn't give a shit, doesn't give a flying F, which means, you're not wrong, you're not right, you just are. Everything just is. So we call that pure isness.
yeah.
And that honestly is freedom. It's empty. It's not judging. It's just observing. Observing is
Hmm.
literally, you're just watching, but there's no stories. There's no, ooh, you shouldn't do that. Ooh, you ate that, or you eat what you want. Okay. Be as you are and work on the guilt and the shame and the things that come up. And when you're trying to force yourself to eat or force yourself to exercise or judging your body or your health or your anything, your financial situation, that's where the work is. That's where it's like, oh, there's that discomfort. That's not relaxing. That's not calm. That's not chill and peace. So there's my work. What's going on? Oh, I'm feeling bad about my money situation. I'm feeling bad about this other person not supporting me or whatever. And just breathe into the now. Empty everything. Accept it, whatever hurts. Breathe it into your heart. And that's the alchemy. And just if it doesn't feel better right away, it's okay. Just keep going moment by moment, day by day, this now to this now, and just trust. You will learn. You are building that strength with yourself, your soul self, through this practice. Yeah. And then things really can change. It really will change, and you'll feel better. You'll feel calmer. And I have to just throw in with that, let go of the outside world as much as you can. So whatever's happening out there, fires, earthquakes, whatever, I'll share with you that it's all a story, and it is real for those who are meant to experience that by design. But your greatest work is to hold the neutrality and hold the observer and the staying in the grounded center of your own heart. That changes our whole reality. What if we don't know what's real and what's not real? This is a simulation made to feel real, but by energizing things I don't want, I'm creating a loop and I'm bringing more of that to me, right? So let me create my own bubble of joy. I've been seeing more and more comments on YouTube where people are like, you know what I'm doing? I don't watch the news. I don't look at anything. I don't care about any dates or anything outside of me. I go to nature. I read my books. I lay out, on the ground. I have fun. I'm taking care of me and I feel great.
Yep.
More power to you. That's the real master. The
Yeah.
real master lets go of the external and realizes it's an inside job. Master yourself. You are the greatest frontier to explore. There is so much inside you, multidimensionally. Reconnect and spend time pampering, holding space for, talking to yourself, feeling yourself, and just feeding your own energy. That's, you'll change everything. And
Yep.
just do it as you can. Just do it as you can, gently, slowly, with love.
Exactly. To just up some of the most high, the things I really feel like we should highlight here is that we talked about is the isness. By the way, you brought up isness, and dude, that's a download. That's a whole 2-hour conversation. But wow, I'm really impressed that you brought up the isness. Being in the isness, the presence of the presence of the now, being in the moment, in the being in the love and in the joy. Those things, if you can do all 4 of those things and practice them a little bit at a time or all at the same time, you got this thing licked. Like everything else is easy. And then you can start to learn how to manifest from the heart instead of from the root chakra. When we're manifesting from a need and desire like that with the root chakra, especially since our root chakra has been out of balance for so long because we've been taught that we're lacking instead of abundant, then or it comes in sideways. That's that whole monkey paw story. That's why we read that when we were in grade school, like that's the whole. And so we learn how to master manifestation. And then we realize the reality, just as you just said, the reality
Yeah.
that we live is what we decide, and we're creating as we're in it, and I just have one more thing to point out. This is separate from what you've mentioned, but just I'm sure you're probably aware of this, that there is some cool planetary alignments happening. So if you're getting outside, I encourage you to look up. Right now, it's already happening. It's like I think that right now so far you can only see 6 planets in a line, but all 8 of us. In fact, if you talk to my daughter, there are 17 of us. There's 17 planets in our solar system. Some of them they don't talk about, like Ceres and Makemake and these other planets that you can look up on Google and it'll tell you about it. That's why I don't understand. Anyway, they're all lining up in a row, and the peak of that happens on the 25th. But all of them are going to be in the parade and seen with even the naked eye for most of them as of the tomorrow. So
Wow.
you're going to be able to see them really. Yeah. So check it
Sounds
out if
like
you
a
want.
party.
It's going to be really neat. I wanted to highlight a comment that someone had written a while ago. And Carolyn has said this. I absolutely love this episode. So glad I tuned in to you today. I needed it. I absolutely love this couple. Thank you for having them as your guest, and please have them again. She said this quite some time ago, and I wanted to bring it up because I do want to have you guys back. If you
We
ever
would
do
love it.
feel like you want to,
Yay. Yes. We would love that. This is our coming out, and it was guided. So thank you,
Thank you.
Mila. Again, Mila asked me, and I was on for the first time on Mila's show last year. It was January 8th or something, and it was perfect. Like out of nowhere, she felt me, I felt her, and she reached out. And then the day before we were supposed to do it last week, my soul said Sven should join, and he was not sure. Anyway, it all flowed, and today was truly the perfect day. Thank you so much for your love and kind comments, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're in this together, and we would love to come back anytime, sweetheart.
Awesome. So thank you very much.
Thank you. This has been a blast.
Yeah, it has.
It's been so much fun. Yeah, I'm glad you both had so much fun. Just I always just really have a big kick out of get a big kick out of this. We do need to wrap it up, unfortunately. But is there anything else that either of you want to add before we do close this up?
Wow, there's been so much. Just other than just never ever give up.
I love it.
Never give up.
I love that. That's exactly I felt. Just keep hanging in there. Hang in there. When you come into the now, you're free of like you don't think, when is this going to end? When is it going to stop? Because that's the big thing that's changed for me and for us together, but especially me. I was waiting, guys. I didn't even realize I was waiting for things to shift, waiting for the outside, waiting for ascension symptoms to end, waiting for whatever the heck, something outside of me. And my power, our power came back in spades when we realized to let go of that. And for me, it was like, oh, I am the change. I am the change. And when you let go of it needing to end, you become more timeless and you come into the true nature of what you really are, the now.
Yeah.
So that breath of now, come back home and just know it will get better. And in the meantime, practice letting go of the judgments and the victim and the story. Because you're the powerful creator. You got to start being it, right? We got to act it. And you don't realize where you're not until you go deeper. So hang in, never give up. The party is just getting started, and we are going to fly high this year. We are already beginning.
Yeah. This is just the beginning too, man. Like officially it's not even, according to Spirit, it's not even really starting until March. Like this is just like the prequel part.
That's it. This is the pre-waving, baby. We're just starting to dance and party now when we can, and rest and take care of self and all of that. Really quick, another message. When Dante passed suddenly, what Spirit told me, what Soul said is, this is not the end. This is the beginning.
Yeah.
And it is so true, because it's the beginning of interdimensional and inter-realm connecting and communicating with him as a soul signature. But what that means for all of us is really this theme of we're just getting started on multidimensionality. Yes. Everything is happening for you to rise, to grand rising. We are here for that. It is all by me, for me, as soul, for human, so I can remember and return to my glory.
Yeah. Wow. Well said.
You said it, girl.
For those of you who are questioning and asking the questions in the audience, just to remind you that yes, in just a little under an hour from now, we are having our Zoom meeting. It's free. So anyone who wants to join, you can go to the community section of the YouTube channel to find the link for that, as well as it's in the Telegram group, and it's also in Facebook. I think it's in Facebook. I usually post it in Facebook. I might not have, because I was kind of doing a few other things before I came on the show today. Though, if you aren't a member of our Telegram group and you're interested, it's free. There's a link for that in the description of this video. There's like 500 of us from all over the planet that just kind of connect with each other, touching bases at any time, day or night, because there's always somebody awake, because there's people all over the planet. And I mean, there's people like me that are normally night owls, but like Sharmony, today I woke up at before 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, Okay, I guess I'm a day person again.
At least in this now, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
beauty of the now. I just let it go. Like we're having to use medication for our older cat because since the other cat passed, he's crying and it's all hours of the night. It's like having a toddler or something. But every day is different. The dosing, and I said to Sven just this morning before we got on, it's to keep us in the now because if it's a straight same thing every day, see, we're breaking all routines. So I love that. I love that we both got up early and in sync. And who knows what's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Who knows? There's no way of
Mm.
telling.
Yeah.
I'm in for the win. This is gonna be a fun, whatever is gonna happen, it's just gonna keep getting better and
Yeah,
better. So
It is. I
definitely
love
will.
it. And one last thing, everyone, if you have the energy and the funding, please contribute. Please donate to Mila. She does so much.
thank
I
you.
know your PayPal, Mila. You'll put it. It's always in the whatchamacallit,
The
in the
description.
description. You know, I understand. Like she does so much, and as givers, we're reluctant to ask. And I know Mila is definitely one of those. But I just want to share, you know, she's a single mom. She does this out of her pure heart for years. There's expenses involved and time and energy. And she really just loves bringing people together. And she does not ask enough or at all. So I just like to remind, and we'll be contributing as well to say huge thank you, girl. But anyone out there who's benefited at, you know, any amount you feel with your heart, the energy and the love, we're in this together. Please do make a donation. And we just love you, Mila. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much. You and Maddie, the dream team.
Thank you very much. That was so kind of you to say. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I
Wow.
feel it.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to Sharmony. The description or the link for that is in the description of this video, as well as I posted it right here. You guys can see it in the comment underneath me.
Yay, I see it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Diamond Heart 888. Yeah,
Yep.
we'll be doing more shows because this is our coming out. So
More.
we'll he hasn't got the memo. We'll be
She
doing
doesn't know
more with you.
yet.
I'll just prop him up. Try to get it. We'll be doing more on my channel because we were feeling it. And then, of course, with Mila. Mila, thank you for hosting or coming
thank you.
out.
Of course. I'm
Thank you.
honored. I'm very
Thanks for
happy. I
everyone.
didn't actually know Sven hadn't done anything yet. When he said that, I was like, oh, wow, I'm honored. That's really cool.
Oh, I'm honored.
It was.
And thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. It was meant to be beautiful.
Yeah.
I hope you watch over this again and see all the comments because there was so many beautiful things said and so many thanks and encouragement and impressed people watching the couple that the two of you are. You helped a lot of people today coming on. So thank you so much for being real and being you and sharing yourself with all of us.
Gosh, I'm just sending everyone a big hug. I wish I could squeeze you all, and Mila too. But you know what? We'll get to that soon in our light bodies and changing our reality. In the meantime, I feel all our energies on this call, on the replay, just in a beautiful, huge heart hug of oneness as we're all just melding together and remembering. So beautiful. Let us celebrate ourselves. We are awesome. We are awesome. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Aho.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you
We'll
too.
see you guys again. We'll be having the two of them on again at some point. I'll let you guys know when that happens, of course. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
And for those of you joining our Zoom meeting, I'll see you in 50 minutes.
Have a blast.